Hello, and welcome to primetime coverage of the SHITournament Olympics. I am Hans Buttface, live from
Kaliningrad,
Russia. Tonight we bring you first round action in the Tetris 100 lines, level 0 start, best of 3 event. As we take a look at the brackets, we will have 4 races tonight in a win-or-go-home single-elimination format. Puke 7 of Anchors of Fire will take on Random Effect representing Special K. Zarnax from 2 Gamers 1 Melvin battles against Unos from The Pain is Thunder. Cantaloupe, or FAP, from Rose City Nation of Fapagidia races Pixel Fire's D-Pad Danny. But first up, it is Team Triforce representative Justin Man versus Enchantress of Numbers from the
Oconomowoc.
Octorox. All right, we'll be starting here for our first event in the SHITournament Olympics. It is Tetris 100 lines, level 0 start. It is a best 2 out of 3 format. And there we go. There are 2 ways to approach this category, one of them being you can build from the bottom, which both players seem to be doing here. The other, a more advanced strat and maybe more beneficial to those trying to get a world record or PB in the category, is to waste a few of the pieces to build yourself up higher. Build yourself a platform and clear lines from the top, which is a lot faster because, as you can see on Justin's screen, since he's up there now, it takes shorter amount of time for the bricks to fall and land in place, rather than having them have to sit and fall through the whole screen. Justin's in a little bit of trouble there. He needs to get some single line pieces. Eon's already gotten 5 of them and build 2 Tetrises, while Justin's only had 2. He's able to clear that line out and make use of the single piece. Justin, representing the Team Triforce, is the favorite, so to speak, to win this tournament, and that's not going to give any discredit towards Enchantress of Numbers. A very accomplished Tetris player, if anybody knows her. She's been in multiple GDQs, has records and times, top times in a ton of Tetris categories. The Nintendo variety Tetris is one of her least favorite of the Tetris. She's been on record to say that. Justin does cover his hole there, and he's in a little bit of a trouble when it comes to being able to clear lines fast on the right-hand side. He's got to clear multiple lines, up to 6, now 8 lines he has to clear before he has access to the right canal. Meanwhile, Eon is keeping her screen clear on the right side and just building Tetris after Tetris after Tetris. And she takes a 32 to 28 line lead, over a quarter of the way done. Eon has times in Tetris with Cardcaptor Sakura, Eternal Heart. Tetris 2 plus Bomb Bliss, whatever that is. Sounds exciting. Tetris the Grandmaster and Tetris the Absolute, the Grandmaster 2 Plus. And you can go to her Twitch profile and see all of her top times in other Zelda categories as well. And I said Zelda, but I mean Tetris. She is 3rd in the New Game Plus No Hammer category in Zelda 2. That's 24 minutes and 51 seconds. That is a dumpster category. We don't recognize that in the SHITournament Olympics. But Justin's almost cleared the right side here. A little tricky because he's got to clear that one line, and then now he's got to clear multiple lines to get access to the right side. Almost there. Nice piece here will do it. Meanwhile, just stacking bricks on the left side and making lines on the right side is Eon. All things considered, though, Justin has, in fact, just taken the lead, 59 to 58, over halfway done. You can contribute that to him being higher in the screen for most of the race so far, and being able to place blocks faster, while Eon was able to clear 4 at a time. He was able to just consistently keep clearing lines at the top of the screen, and that proves to be faster. But he did open it up. He is down towards the bottom, while Eon is searching for that single straight piece, and there it is, and she'll clear 4 more lines. Only 1 line behind. And as I say that, she goes 5 lines behind now. Very close and tight race here. Both players trading a few Tetrises back and forth. Justin keeping it nice and even now. Building the good foundation, the good base. Eon setting herself up for multiple Tetrises. There's 1. Errant piece right there for her. Created a little bit of an obstacle. And Justin goes up 87 to 78. So Eon was able to correct the ship, right the ship. Not getting the straight pieces, though, even though she's had 10 more, 11 more during the game. And there's one right there. 91 to 87 here. Justin's he lost his ability to build from the left and slam out the Tetrises. He gets 3 lines there. 94 to 98. And Eon, unfortunately, just lost her ability to use that right-hand column. Right as all the pieces drop, and there's Justin's 100th line, and he is done. That is 4 minutes and 58 seconds for Justin. And Eon's going to finish it out. 3 more lines left, 2 more lines left. Game 1 goes to Justaman, 114. And there's 100 lines there. 5 minutes and 15 seconds. That is set number 1 over there for Justin. These players will be taking a little time to set up for set number 2. And while we do that, why don't we go ahead and take the look at the Super Mario Bros. 1 brackets and set up that tournament for you guys, that event for you guys from the SHITournament Olympics. Coming up later today will be the Super Mario Bros. Event, Any Percent. The round 1 action, 4 races. Link Sevens versus Coach Crab, Unos versus Zarnax, Jakite versus CF207, and then Sleepy Mario versus Cantaloupe Me, and that will be following the Tetris races tonight. All right, we are back with set number 2. Justaman 114 versus Enchantress of Numbers. Justaman is up 1-0 in this best 2 out of 3 100 lines level 0 Tetris event. Looks like Enchantress of Numbers is going to go ahead and set up that platform about a little less, so like, I don't know, 2/5 of the way up the screen. Justaman's going to be content with building from the bottom here. We'll see how this works out for Eon. I said earlier in the first race that, oh, nope, she's going to fix this right now. Oh, no, she hits right a little bit too soon. And she's in the world of trouble here. While Justaman is accumulating some lines on the bottom. See if she can correct this. If there's anybody who can correct this, it'd be either of these players. Very skilled. And I said before that Justaman was the favorite going into this event. And that is because he has a time of 4 minutes and 11 seconds posted for this category, which puts him 4th in the world. So Eon is a little bit out of trouble, but has not been able to set herself up with the easy Tetris building strats. She's building several lines at a time, closer to the top of the screen, while Justin has a good foundation going. And is able to bang out these Tetrises whenever he wants, but he does put a piece down there, a Z piece. And a couple times, his last 2 single flat pieces, he was not able to utilize for Tetrises. They were able to use, he had to use them to clear the path to the right column. There we go. Eon has a little bit of a good build right there, but as you can see, the platform strats are pretty risky in the sense that when you do clear lines, you can clear your platform and then have to waste a couple pieces building it back up. And ideally, you're not even getting the single flat pieces in the rightmost column or leftmost column, where they're most beneficial. You have to take the lines where you get them. But nevertheless, with all the trouble with not clearing Tetrises, she does have a 2-line lead here. And is in good shape here. If she can just get a flat piece, she'd be in great shape. But does not and has to clear some lines or her game would be over. If you do take a game over, it's no big deal. You just start right back up again. Remember, it's the first to 100 lines. It doesn't have to be in one credit clear. So both players tied here at 46 lines apiece. Eon is in a little bit of trouble. And there's her flat line, but it's one piece too late, and she gets wamboozled. And she'll have to start all over again, making the lead 50-0 for Justin Man. I think she may have forfeited from trying again. Now we'll have to get our producer on that call right there, but Justin's going to keep going. You have to do what the category says, even if your opponent does fail. So he does have to build 100 lines. He just doesn't need to do it as fast as anybody right now. He just has to make sure he gets it done, and he has unlimited tries to do it. So we'll see how he does with 63 lines down. This will make Justin Man the winner of set 2 if he can complete this. And he'll be moving on in the tournament. It is a single elimination bracket for the SHI Olympics. Win and you move on. Lose and you go home. If you win the first round, like Justin Man is going to do here, you guarantee yourself a spot in a medal round, whether it's winning your next round and going for the gold or losing your next round and going for the bronze. Each of the players in the Olympics play 2 events. Eon, unfortunately, loses the Tetris event, but she'll be moving on to the Zelda 2 Randomizer event, with her first round opponent being Jacquemus Wedge. And you can catch that video in the VOD. Justin Man's other event for Team Triforce is Super Mario Bros. 2. And his first round match is against D-Pad Danny. And we'll be bringing you the Super Mario Bros. 2 event in a couple of weeks. And there is the 100 lines for Justin Man 114, and he's going to be moving on. Winning 2 sets to 3, or 2 sets to none. All right, that is close enough with the set markers. We'll get our technical staff on that and find out why that didn't work. But there is 2 sets to none victory for Justin Man 114, and Team Triforce is going to be moving on, and Justin Man is going to be moving on to at least the medal round. And we'll see who he takes on later on in the tournament. And actually, we could go ahead and reset the brackets here. And let's go take a look at the updated matchups and see where Justin Man falls and see what other events or matches we do have coming up. And once again, congratulations to Justin Man 114, who's going to move on to the next round. He will be taking on the winner of Cantaloupe Me versus D-Pad Danny. But right now, we're going to head on back as Random Effect takes on Puke 7. All right, it is time for race number 2 here featuring Puke 7 of Anchors of Fire versus Random Effect of Special K. And there we go. Both players do not have a posted time for this category, or this game, I should say. Puke 7 doesn't even seem to have any posted times at all on speedrun.com for any games, although he has been a part of the SHItournament for several seasons now. Both players have, both starting in the same season, Season 3, Panic Restaurant. They are both in the cesspool, and have been in cesspool since they've started, although Random Effect has had several attempts to float his way to the upper deck. It has not been something he's been able to do, but I will not put it past him to do it eventually. And Puke 7 as well, once he dedicates some time to practice in some of the games, you can see how well he can do, like in Panic Restaurant. And then you can also see how bad he can do, like Tiny Toons Adventures. But both players are using the strategy of just get lines when you can get lines. Neither is setting up, although I do say that Random Effect does seem like he's setting himself up a little bit of a hole there to take out 4 lines at a time, but then quickly fills it. So both players are going to be a little bit slower than the last race we've seen, but then again, those guys were Tetris experts. It is the battle of the players who have obstructed views over their game capture. Puke 7 has a little bit of a wooden fringe thing going on. Random Effect has a retro TV. Makes it very hard to capture. And I apologize if our technical staff has obstructed, well, skewed the view and stretched it a little bit. Not pickle perfect. But then again, who is? So Random Effect is down right now, 23 lines to 19. Should make note that he does have several top times in world records in some games, including a sub-30 time in The Legend of Zelda 100% No Up in A. That's something he did within the most recent month, joining the sub-30 club. He is also the record holder in Fisher-Price Perfect Fit, which seems like a great prequel to this game. And both players are on level 2 right now, trying to make their way out of level 2. Puke's going to be the first one to do it. He has 29 lines, although he does need a flat piece. He has been more fortunate than Random Effect in getting them. He's going to need one soon, and there it is. He's going to hit a Tetris, followed by a 3-bagger, and he's quickly up to 36 lines, where Random Effect is struggling to place a line here, and there it is, 25 lines. He's a quarter of the way done. There's no real good place for Puke 7 to put that cube, so he just puts it on top of whatever and moves on. This is allowing Random Effect to get a couple lines here and catch up. One of the qualifications for becoming a good Tetris speedrunner is to know how to count bombs in Legend of Zelda. And of course, we touched upon Random Effect being a sub-30 time holder in the 100% no up in A category. Or, I'm sorry, any percent no up in A category. If I said 100% before, I apologize. I was wrong. Certainly can count bombs. You need to get top times. It's not really translating too well right now, but it's still early. Anything can happen. As we saw in the first match, you can take a game over and have to start all over again at 0. Game overs don't matter. It is the first to 100 lines, and it is best 2 out of 3. So if either player loses now, it is not over. There will be at least one more set to come, and then a tie-breaking third set if we need it. Puke 7 is representing Anchors of Fire, and that's led by the Upper Decker Nirm. Puke 7 is the cesspool participant in the team, And their hired gun is Sleepy Mario. While Random Effect is part of Special K, which is led by Upper Decker Coach Crab. 127. And their hired gun is Jackamus Wedge. Jack will be playing Zelda 2 Randomizer and Super Mario Bros. 2. In fact, Jack versus Eon in Enchantress of Numbers has already taken place. No spoilers, but if you want to watch that match, you can head on over to the VOD of this channel and catch it. Three-quarters of the way done here for Puke 7. He's taking a commanding 23-line lead. And now only has 20 more lines to go. So it looks like Puke 7, every once in a while, it looks like he's building himself a little bit of a pocket there to take away 4 lines at a time. And then as soon as he does that, he just starts clearing any line possible. It's working for him. Don't get me wrong. It's not a criticism at all. But taking him as he can get him. This is one of the games you have to get better at by playing more, because there are certain places you can put pieces when it doesn't seem like you can put them anywhere, to then clear a line really quickly and not get yourself into trouble. And then there are places where you can put a piece where you have to clear up to 3 lines to get yourself out of trouble if you block something or, you know, place it in the wrong area. And there's the 100th line for Puke 7 right there. 6 minutes and 51 seconds. Random Effect gets to line number 70. Let's see if Random Effect finishes this out to get a little bit more practice in the game. Looks like he is. Remember, every 10 lines increases your level. And with the higher levels comes faster speed. And now Random Effect is 3/4 of the way there. So that is set number 1 for Puke 7 in the best of 3. Random Effect has nowhere to go with those cubes. So Puke 7 will be playing, along with Tetris, he'll be playing Super Mario Bros. 2 as well. And he has a race against Angry Larry coming up. And again, reminder that Super Mario Bros. 2 and all other events in the tournament, in the Olympics, will be shown in a future time. And there is level 80 Combust right there. Combustion for Random Effect. And he's going to go ahead and call that quits. And both players are going to go ahead and move on to set number 2. And while we set up for set number 2, why don't we go ahead and take a look at the Super Mario Kart event. And here is that look at the Super Mario Kart brackets as our racers set up for set number 2. D. Allen Heffley will take on Dig Shake. Armageddon Time battles Nearm. JSR 2 Gamers, or JSR underscore, is racing Bent Glass Tube. V. Resner, or Rez Oviak, I don't even know how to say it, his new name, takes on Random Effect. Make sure you check out these racers and their name changes. And we'll take you back to set number 2 here. All right, we are all set up and ready to go. Almost. Now Random Effect is all set up and ready to go. Set number 2 here Puke 7 Anchors of Fire versus Random Effects Special K. And there they go. Puke 7 winning the first round in the best of 3 format. 100 lines starting at level 0. Random Effects off to a quick start here, but Puke is building himself a foundation and then clears it with that single piece. So it looks like Puke 7 is going to build himself a little bit of an area and then utilize the straight pieces to just clear whatever he has. While Random Effects going to continue to just build lines where he can using the pieces. We talked about a little bit about Puke 7's involvement in the SHI tournament. Random Effect is going to be playing Super Mario Kart, as we just saw from the previous video. Winner of this match moves on, and will play for at least a bronze medal. And the loser will go home single elimination format, as we remind everyone. And as we saw on the top of the show, the winner of this race will face the winner of the Zarnax 42 versus Unos XX race. A matchup between two players that have pretty good times in this game. And that will be coming up next, I believe. And yes, I have confirmed it with my producers. It is next. Unos versus Zarnax. And the first to level 2 is Random Effect here. So he's doing a great job getting lines and progressing forward. Puke 7 is just building lines himself, but he's a little bit higher in the grid, so he can drop pieces faster. You can see, like, the one time we did see the platform strategy, it did not work out too well for Enchantress of Numbers. She was unable to control it and took a game over. There's Puke setting up the nice foundation there. It's got a cube piece. See what he does with this straight piece. Fills it in right there. And he's well on his way to building himself a 4-line of ham bone. Oh, but he drops that piece down there, ruining the potential of the ham bone. There it is, ham bone for Puke 7. And he goes up 10 lines, now 9 lines, and then 9 lines again. As Random Effect progresses to level number 3, and Puke 7 goes to level number 4 here. Puke has gotten 10 more straight pieces than Random Effect, but that could also be contributed to placing more pieces overall. And he's all set up here. He just needs another straight piece despite having 22 total, and there it comes. And here we go, ham bone. See those ham bone emotes in chat, please. Being told there is a little bit of buzzing in the audio. We have audio technical difficulties right now. We apologize for that. There are sunspots in the area that's causing havoc with our broadcast. See if we can get them cleared up for the next race. Puke 7 is in trouble. He's able to clear 2 lines right there. And 2 more lines. He's going to take this down for ham bone. But he does need to be careful. He needs a couple of solid pieces there. He gets one of them. Now he has access to the left side. And he's going to fill it in. 63 to 54 here. Puke 7 at times flirting with disaster, and every time I bring that up, he does clear 3+ lines. And there's another 3 for Puke, so extending the lead 72 to 56 here. On his way to winning set number 2, and advancing in the SHI Tournament Olympics. Meanwhile, Random is staying out of trouble here. Built himself a little bit higher than maybe he wants to, but it is working in his favor. He's able to drop the pieces down faster. Puke 7 with those Ultra Magnus colors. If you're in chat right now, why don't you tell us, what is your favorite Transformer of all time, and what is your least favorite Transformer of all time? Ultra Magnus was basically useless. Plus, he cursed in the movie and got me in trouble as a kid for watching it. Looks like we have lost the sound. That is the sunspots, ladies and gentlemen. We're live. Nothing we can do about it. 91 lines there for Puke 7. Random Effect looks like he's just given up. Lets the pieces fall and has seemingly forfeited. Meanwhile, Puke 7 has to bring this to 100 levels. He's at level 9. Pieces are falling faster. Puke did a good job of getting himself down towards the bottom. And there it is. There's the 100th line for Puke 7. And he'll be moving on in the SHI Tournament Olympics, winning 2-0 over Random Effect. And good score there, 46,689. But like the very small rocket. It's a Dig Shake sized rocket right there. But again, Puke 7's is moving on, and he'll face the winner of Unos XX versus Zarnax 42, which is coming up next. But first, let's take a look at the updated brackets for the Tetris 100 Lines Level 0 Start event. All right, and Puke 7 will move on to the next round. He'll take on the winner of the next race here, coming up in a couple seconds, Zarnax versus Unos. And here we go. Game number 3 in the SHI Tournament Olympics Tetris 100 Lines Level 0 Start event. It is Zarnax 42 from 2 Gamers 1 Melvin versus Unos XX of The Pain is Thunder. You can see Zarnax is building himself a little bit of a platform. It's about 6 tiles high right there. Meanwhile, Unos is playing from the bottom. One of the things on his resume is he is a bottom. But let's talk about Zarnax first. Again, he is building the platform. Zarnax from 2 Gamers 1 Melvin, not the Melvin. And we'll find out who that is later on in the tournament. He has the 8th overall time in the 100 Lines category for level 0 start with a 4 minutes and 22 second PB. He once beat Just a Man 11-4 and Enchantress of Numbers, along with maybe somebody else in the same race. I'm being told that ACMLM and KK Slita were also involved in that race for Zarnax, where he won in 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Unos in a little bit of trouble here, has a double ham bone for Unos. He has a double gutter situation. He had the channel on the left. Now he has a channel on the right, but that is mostly covered now. Mostly more covered. Zarnax is also going to be playing Super Mario Brothers against Yunos as well. They drew each other in both games they're involved in. He has a 189th best time in the 90% category that we are running in the Olympics. 5 minutes and 14 seconds. He is third overall in the Hammer Grab, no out of bounds category extension category of Zelda 2 Zelda 2. And he is also involved in the, both players are also involved in the Zelda Any Percent No Up in A tournament that's currently ongoing, but nearing a conclusion. So for those who did not watch any of the races, I won't spoil it for you. The videos are available video on demand. Through Twitch, unless the video was highlighted during a certain period of time, in which case it is gone forever. But as we approach and pass the halfway point, Zarnax has a 55-46 lead here on Yunos. Yunos keeping it clean there on the left-hand side. Zarnax still on the platform. Oh, errant piece there for Zarnax. That might be costly. He gets it under control, though. Gets a couple of good pieces, puts them to good use, and takes care of the error itself. As Yunos hits his halfway point. Zarnax grabbing a couple singles, followed by a double. And a ham bone there for Yunos. Forwent the back-to-back ham bones to build himself up a little bit higher. Now he's in a little bit of trouble. He's going to need to get a piece here. It's going to waste that L piece. I wouldn't say wasted. He got cleared all 3 lines. And here it is. Ham bone for Yunos, but he's 20 lines down. Zarnax dropping a couple of those Z pieces to make a line in unconventional places. There's 2 more lines for Zarnax as Yunos enters level 7 with 70 lines. Zarnax just 8 lines away here. He'll grab 3 of them right there, so 5 lines away now for Zarnax. Yunos has to get 30 lines pretty quickly. Down to 3 for Zarnax, 2. And 1 more. And not getting the piece to do it. There it is. There's 100 lines for Zarnax. Around time of 4 minutes and 27 seconds. Yunos is going to finish up. .433 on the SRL timer, but it was done quicker than that. So you can see the platform strat. Hambone! Platform strat's working very well. For Hambone, for Zarnax there. Sorry about that. I get a little excited when I see a Tetris happen. And 3 more lines here for Yunos, and we'll close out set number 1, which goes to Zarnax 42. Best of 3 format. And 1 more line for Yunos, and there it is. Yunos actually gets 103 lines. Therefore, he may have a claim to win here. We don't want to speak for the officials in the tournament, but we'll go ahead and go check. He's got the big rocket. Girthy. Meaty. But set number 1 nonetheless goes to Zarnax, and we'll be moving on to set number 2 shortly. And while the players set up, let's go take a look at our Super Mario Bros. 2 tournament. And here is a live look at our Super Mario Bros. 2 bracket. Jackamus versus CF207. Justin Man 11-4 versus D-Pad Danny The Alan Heffley from the University of Kentucky takes on Armageddon Time from Canada. And Angry Larry takes on Puke 7. The Super Mario Bros. 2 event, along with the Mario Kart event that we saw earlier, will be next week. But for now, let's get some more Tetris races going on. Set number 2. All right, set number 2 is going to begin shortly here. Zarnax up 1-0 in this best of 3. Tries to cheat by starting at level 5, but quickly is told, you can't do that, buddy, and goes back to level 0. And there we go. Zarnax is going to build his little bit of a shelf. Yunos is going to set himself up on the bottom there. So Yunos, part of The Pain is Thunder, captained by Buzz Thunder, who is in the upper deck of the SHI tournament. The lower bowl participant on the team is the Alan Heffley. As we said before, Yunos is also going to be playing Super Mario Bros. 1, but we have a problem here on Zarnax's side. Zarnax is very close to the top here. He's got to calm himself down and move lower. He needs a couple pieces to do it, though. He's not getting them. He's going to have to make... Oh, and he takes a crash. Crash and burn for Zarnax. He's going to build the shelf again. Starting over immediately. Down 10 lines right now to Yunos. Just another errant piece for Zarnax there. Maybe letting the victory of set number 1 get to his head. And he's in a whole host of trouble yet again. These are the dangers of the platform. Great for PB runs. Maybe not so great for racing. Seems to have controlled himself. And avoided disaster, but not out of the woods yet. He's still flirting with it every single time he places a piece. But yeah, both players are lined up to face each other in Super Mario Bros. 1. Yunos has a whole host of world records, including categories he made up, like Co-op First Quest with Canadaphone. He's first place in that. Co-op First Quest with Panzer Dave. Somehow he's 4th in that category. So Panzer Dave has played with 3 other people, I believe. Traditional Dungeon Order Glitchless outlands any % First Quest. 2 players, 1 controller, First Quest and Second Quest, both with Jay Coper. True reverse boss order, not the fake reverse boss order. And Famicom Disk System prototype build. First Quest EverDrive N8. He's world record holder in all of those dumpster categories. He's also first in the Zelda 2 category extension Hammer Grab No Out of Bounds. That's a favorite among the kids nowadays. Let's not put past the 100% no up in A world record, and the host of second place finishes or records he has, or second place in the standings for Legend of Zelda. Any % no up in A, any %. Second Quest low %, low %. And second place in Ogre Battle, The March of the Black Queen. He also has the 36th fastest time in this category, 5 minutes and 13 seconds. And also a 6-line lead here on Zarnax. Zarnax getting pretty scary at times during this set. High on that platform and placing pieces in areas they don't necessarily fit, but he placed them there anyway because there's no other option. But the difference between crashing and burning by doing it and continuing on is knowing what to do with your next pieces to correct the either mistake or the unfortunate situation the game presents you with. And that comes with experience of playing the game. And the ability to foresee the next piece and decide what you want to do with it before placing the current piece. So Zarnax has gone ahead and taken the lead here. Despite crashing and burning early on, he's up 3 lines at the 3/4 pole. $18 more lines to go for Zarnax, but it's right behind him as they both enter level 7 or level 8. It's a fantastic race here. Zarnax having the privilege of placing pieces faster. I say that 3 times fast. Because he is, again, higher up on the screen while Yunos has to wait a little bit longer for the drop to fall. And you can see how that's helping Zarnax right now. 5 more to go. 4 more for Zarnax. And now he's down to 3. While Yunos is looking for a ham bone here. He has a situation where he can place back-to-back ham bones and maybe steal this one, but there it is. Line number 100 for Zarnax, and he takes the lead and the win, winning 2-0. And he'll be moving on. He'll be facing Puke 7 in the next round. A small rocket there. 32,000 points. Nothing to be excited about. Yunos is already up over 54,000. And he has 2 more lines to go. And 1 more left. And there it is. 100 lines for Yunos. And a pretty decent score, 56,000. That's going to give him a little bit bigger of a rocket, but not the biggest rocket we've seen so far. And Zarnax wins 2-0. We have 1 more match coming up here in the SHITournament Olympics. First round Tetris event. We'll be looking at getting to that shortly. Let's go to the updated brackets. And that is Zarnax 42 moving on. He'll be taking on Puke 7 in the next round. Coming up now, we have Cantaloupe versus D-Pad Danny. All right, it's time for the 4th and final race of the SHITournament Olympics, Tetris 100 lines. Level 0 start, first round event. This is featuring Cantaloupe of the Rose City Nation of Fapagidia versus D-Pad Danny of Pixel Fire. You can see Fap is building himself a little bit of a platform there, a little sloppy platform. Propping up the blocks on a few other blocks. And Danny is building from the bottom, building a nice, neat, OCD-like foundation. Ham bone for Danny. Both players at 4 lines apiece. Fap is in the upper deck of the SHITournament. He is joined by the cesspool teammate, Armageddon Time, who was in one of the latest victims of sinking to the cesspool. And then they have Rose City Saint to help him out on the other games. Fap is also playing Super Mario Bros. 1. He has a handful of world records in other games, including any % no up in A, Legend of Zelda for the Famicom. He's also one of 4 runners in this, or 4 participants in these Olympics that have a sub 30-minute time in the any % no up in A category for the Nintendo Legend of Zelda. He's 3rd overall with 28 minutes and 57 seconds. He has world records in Predator, Wild Gunman, and he shares some world records in co-op, Friday the 13th. With Scavenger in the 2-player co-op, and Scavenger, Feasel, and Jam Evil in the 4-player. You can also see Fap in several of the GDQs. One of them he was running Castlevania. And he has a 2nd place time in the any % easy mode category. And he's having an easy time there with a ham bone. 1/3 of the way done here. 34 lines to 27 for Danny. Danny's keeping it nice and neat, nice and OCD-like on the bottom. That one had to kill him, though. Having nowhere to naturally place that. Gets the ham bone. And he's going to start trying to clean up there. Meanwhile, Fap is very dangerously close to the top here. He's not getting any of the straight pieces he needs. There's one. Gets it over to the side. Clears 3 lines. And again, doesn't really have anywhere to go with that piece. He's got to force it in there. Creates an unfortunate gap. But he's able to clear it a couple lines later. And he seems to be back on track, but he is a victim of needing the pieces he needs, especially when you're this high up. Again, the pieces will fall and lock in place faster because they don't have as far to go as Danny. He's got to bring them all the way down to the bottom. But if he gets unfortunate, if he doesn't get the pieces he needs, he could be in a world of trouble. He gets a flat piece, but not after blocking the path it could have gone in. Stacks a few of the cubes, gets another flat piece. Now he's starting to make a little bit of headway here to clearing and potentially getting down a little further. Gets an area there where he can use a flat piece, and here it comes. So he'll clear a couple lines there. He has to waste that T block. And again, he's just not getting the pieces to fit naturally without making these awkward gaps in the lines. And then needing to go ahead and clear them. Meanwhile, Danny's keeping it nice and clean as could be. There's a ham bone for Danny. Fap's at 72 lines, though. Danny's going to need quite a few more of them to catch up. And there, Fap gets a little bit out of trouble. A little bit more comfortable. But then he keeps getting pieces he doesn't have a natural fit for. He's getting unfortunate, and he has to place that one. I think that was a little bit off target. That red L shape. And just several blocks in a row for Fap. Fap is in trouble here. With being at level 8 and the pieces coming pretty fast now, he is at the top and no place to really go. No place to really put these pieces. Danny's building up towards the top as well at 60-something pieces, 63. Both players are risking a game over. See if they can control it. 90 lines for Fap, and he loses it. With 10 left to go at 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And he's going to have to start all over at 2 lines now. Danny has 25 lines to go to win this set. Best 2 out of 3. Just got to keep it cool and calm here. You are able to see what your opponent is doing. Most runners, most racers elect not to. That's a bad piece there for Danny. He doesn't know what to do with it. He kind of just throws it to the right out of the way. 18 lines to go for Danny as Fap is gotten rid of the foundation, the platform, and he's playing from the bottom. He built himself up a nice foundation there for the ham bone. Danny getting a piece there. Doesn't have anything to do with any real place to put it. And misses that piece right there. That's going to be costly. He might not be able to recover from that one. Actually, he did recover from that one. My bad. Got a couple good pieces in a row. Places them down. Needs something over there on the left side. There it is. Gets the 3 line. He's 11 lines away. Uh-oh. Oh, that's not good. And he takes a game over at 89 lines. So we had a 90 line game over from Fap. And an 89 line game over from Deephead Danny. And he has to restart. Now Fap takes the lead 18-0. What an unfortunate set of circumstances for both runners, as Fap is once again flirting with disaster, gets the ham bone. Takes out 4 lines right there at once. And Danny is pretty riled up right now. He's just placing pieces anywhere. He's not going for any sort of certain strategy. There's 3 more lines for Fap. So 26-0. 26-3 now. As we've seen our first double game over of the tournament. There's a ham bone for Danny, followed by a double. And seemingly taking it under control. But Fap has a great foundation. Back-to-back ham bones. And there's a third. Brings himself all the way near the bottom with 44 lines completed to Danny's 11. So Fap has blown this one wide open. He just has to stay away from another game over. He's going to set himself up here for more ham bones in the future. He can get one now, but he's going to not get it. He's going to actually block his path over there and use the bottom half as his platform. Again, if you can do this, get the pieces you need, place them where you need to place them. You can clear the top half and then have the bottom half wide open for multiple more lines. So the end of this might come pretty quickly here for Fap. Meanwhile, Danny's struggling here to build up a foundation. He's got something going now. Got a place to put that Q block. Got a place to put that L block. And he's going to need some sort of straight piece or the reverse L. But he's going to have to use these pieces over on the left-hand side. And now he gets the flat piece, of course. Meanwhile, Fap is very high up here. What is he going to do? Let's see. All right. So far, so good. He needs a flat piece. Oh, 55 lines. Game over for Fap. So that's 145 lines worth of game over for Fap right now. Danny taking the lead again at 30 lines. Fap's going to have to start all over at level 0 with 0 lines. Just a reminder, this is game 4 of the first round, the final game. After this round, we'll take a look at the brackets and preview the semifinals. Winner of this match will go on to face Justin Mann 114 in the second round. Loser goes home in his single elimination. Advance out of this round, and you're guaranteed to play in the medal round. If you win your semifinal match, you'll play for the gold medal. If you lose, you'll play for the bronze medal. So Fap is catching up here. Danny has 41 lines. He has 20. But Danny's playing pretty high right now. And in danger of taking his second game over. And there is the piece that's going to solidify it for him. That's second game over for Danny. So he failed at 89 lines, I believe, and now 40-something lines. And he's going to start over. Turns the music off. Maybe it's distracting. And he's going to go. So 14 lines there for Fap. He's going to reset and start over. He didn't like where he was. This is going to give Danny not really a lead. No, now it's a lead. 1-0. So 2 game overs and a reset for Fap. 2 game overs for D-pad Danny. And this is the most exciting match of the first round we've had so far. Fap could be watching Danny's stream and elected to start over, being the good sportsman he is, or he realized it's a good opportunity to start over and get out of whatever predicament he was in. We would have to ask this of him. But he gets himself a high foundation here, and he leaves 3 off of the bottom, which again is going to act as the platform, so that when he clears the top half, he has an easy way to gain multiple lines in the bottom half. But in building the platform, Danny does take the lead here. A couple L pieces with nothing to do with them for FAP. In fact, 5 L pieces in a row. And FAP once again finds himself on the top. Decides to take that double instead of doing anything cute with the long piece. He's trying to get himself back down to the bottom, and Danny's just trying to pile up some lines here. Relying heavily on the long pieces. And there is a long piece. He'll take it down. Hambone. Oh, and Fab misses with that piece right there. But he's only at level 2, so he can get pieces over to the left side pretty quickly before they fall. And he has taken the lead now. Again, playing higher in the field allows for the pieces to fall down faster. Thus you can place more pieces, thus you can create lines faster. And that's the whole idea of the platform, building the platform. We've seen it work and we've seen it not work so far. It's been a mixed bag in this tournament. Zarnax did make it work, and then he also did not make it work the next round. It failed to work for Enchantress of Numbers, and it has failed to work so far for FAP. Couple good L pieces there for FAP, and he's back under control, 44 lines down. Meanwhile, Danny working where he can. Unfortunate Q piece here. He's going to place it off to the side again. Seems to be Danny's go-to area to throw the trash. Oddly satisfying formation there for FAP. And he takes a few lines down, gets to 60, and level 6 now. And he's still having a little trouble. Gets bailed out there by that flat piece. It seems like when Danny makes himself a hole on one of the sides for the flat piece, he doesn't like to put anything there but the flat piece if he gets it. While we see other runners, probably more people who put way more hours into the game of Tetris and can recognize it quickly. They know what they can put in that area to mitigate the mistake, I guess we'll call it. Not really mistake, but unfortunate situation of blocking the hole. Danny is working out of it, but back-to-back of those Z pieces, it's going to cause a problem. There's the bailout piece for him. As FAP moves back down to the bottom. 78 lines now. Seems to be clear of danger. He just has to, make 18 lines. But again, it is level 8. It is faster than when he first started. And Danny is in trouble here. A world of trouble. 61 lines down. Can he get that piece over? He cannot get that piece over. And he takes game over number 3. So 3 game overs for Danny. 2 game overs for FAP and 1 reset. Now FAP just has to do 14 more lines as Danny starts over again from level 0, with 0 lines. All right, 10 more. Last 10, we dip into level number 9 for FAP. And 6 more lines to go. And 5 more. He's not concerned about making ham bones right now. He just wants to get every line as he can. Quite a few L pieces in a row. And down to 2 lines left. It's going to coast on to victory. Danny might not even take a line in this segment. Uh-oh. As a bad place by... Oh, 99 lines. Fat might be in trouble. Oh, no, there it is. There's his 100th line. And he finishes up with a chuckle, knowing he almost threw it there. 17 minutes and 33 seconds on the clock when he done, in the tiniest of rockets. But that's okay. We won't hold that against him. Danny has gone ahead and forfeited this race to go ahead and start the next one. 3 game overs in, you got to feel for Danny. I mean, Fab had a bad time at it as well, game overing at 90 lines. But Danny could have stole one there, but instead the set goes to Cantaloupe Me, Mr. Fap, and we'll be setting up for set number 2 here in the best of 3, best 2 out of 3. But first, we're going to go take a look at the Super Mario Bros. 3 brackets. And here are our brackets for our 6th and final event, the Super Mario Bros. 3 Any Percent No Wrong Warp event. Starting off with Sleepy Mario versus Link Sevens. Kite versus JSR _. Coach Crab and Rose City Saint. And rounding it out, Bent Glass Tube versus Buzz Thunder. And now back to the second set in the best of 3. All right, as we clear the timer, we're set for set number 2. Fap taking the 1-0 lead on D-Pad Danny. In the SHI Tournament Olympics Tetris 100 Lines Level 0, first round. Danny is a connoisseur of video games. He owns a bunch of has a huge collection, and has a couple speedrunning times here. He is 8th overall in Tiny Toon Adventures Any Percent, which we did in the SHI tournament. And he's also 22nd overall in Panic Restaurant Any Percent, which we also did in the SHI tournament, but Danny was not involved in that season. Danny joined us last season, Tiny Toon Adventures, where him and Fap did, in fact, make it to the final of the SHI tournament in the cesspool division. Both of them floating to the upper deck. And Danny is playing for Pixel Fire with his cesspool teammate Dig Shake. And their third player is Jakite. Danny's also going to run Super Mario Bros. 2 in this tournament. In fact, he's going to be racing Just a Man 11-4 in the first round. And the winner of this matchup will play Just a Man 11-4 in the second round of the Tetris event. And there's a ham bone for Danny, 14 lines apiece. Both players are hoping that neither of these runs here in set number 2 go as poorly as they did in set number 1, where we had 3 game overs essentially on both sides. Danny had 3 natural game overs, and Fap had 2 game overs and the reset before arriving at 100 lines. But Fap is in trouble here. Only at level 2, so the blocks are not going as fast as they would go later on in the round. So he has plenty of time to right this ship. And he gets a couple lines shaved off there, and he's playing a little bit lower now. Danny's building for his Tetrises. There is a single line. He's going to place it right there. Again, relying on the single lines for his Tetrises. I'm sorry, ham bones. And there's one right now. Ham bone in chat, please. About 1/3 of the way through the race, barring game overs. See Fap again, once he gets to the top, he's not getting the pieces he necessarily wants to see. but he's placing the pieces he gets in great areas to stay alive and make lines as he enters level number 4. See Danny finally needing to use one of those L pieces to block a long gap, a long divot. Fap is cruising right now, almost at the halfway mark. In fact, he will be at the halfway mark now. Once he clears a few lines here off the top, he'll have access to a few lines underneath, and then a few lines later. And there's the access to the few lines, which he blocks again because he wants to play on a platform to be able to place these blocks faster. Meanwhile, Danny's hoping to force a game 3, a set number 3. And he's nearing the halfway mark right about now. One more line to go. Well, the speed of Fap's blocks increases, and he's getting higher as well. So he needs to start being careful. Is in fact clearing lines when he can instead of trying to work for those ham bones, and makes it to level 7. And just as I say that, he has an area to the left, but he's only able to make a double out of it. And he's in trouble right now. These blocks are coming down pretty fast. So he gets a double there. He's playing well at the top now. Looks like he might get out of this. There's a double, a single, another single. Getting some fortunate pieces. And he loses it at 80 lines. So Danny has a 66-line lead in set number 2, hoping to tie this up at a set apiece. Building higher has worked for Fap in terms of getting to higher number of levels, number of lines faster. Much faster, I would say. 20 to 30 lines faster than Danny. But it puts him at risk of game overing, and he is game overing. And that puts Danny right back into these sets. Let's see if Danny can take care of this one. And even the match. He's got 66 lines, a clear and comfortable 60-line lead. He is looking for a flat piece. He's gotten 34 of them so far. It's the most of any line he has received. And he just doesn't know what to do when he doesn't get the flat piece, and he takes a game over at 66 lines in set number 3, in set number 2, in fact. So Danny's going to hit reset and doesn't want to look at his small rocket. And he's going to go ahead and start on over. Takes the music selection off. He's listening to his own music. And for copyright reasons, we cannot broadcast that. And here we go again. Both players taking a game over. Fap with a 13-line lead right now, but has positioned himself nicely to line up these ham bones. And there's one right now. Ham bone! But then he places a piece not where he wanted to, and now he's going to have to recover from this as well. That seems to be the story of the match here. But he should be able to recover right now. Puts a couple pieces where he wants them to go. There's a lot of those Z pieces in a row. Takes out that line and ham bone, and we're coming back down. Meanwhile, Danny making an absolute mess of round number 2. See if we can get out of this. Fap had nowhere to go with that Z piece, building a wall on the left side. And then getting the double. He has to knock down some of these lines pretty quickly here. Only at level 3, but he's pretty high, and he doesn't really have much room to work with. But gets another double there. 16 lines in, Danny's having a load of trouble on his side of things. Seems to be putting pieces in place, and then gets an odd piece every once in a while. He has no place to put. And he's relying on those long pieces. Maybe too often, unfortunately. But he does use a couple of them to get out of a jam. And he should be fine. Should right this ship pretty soon here. There's a flat piece, and we have the right side axis again. So, meanwhile, Fap on his side, playing way near the top. Once again, as he hits the halfway mark and trying to save it here and cannot. 51 lines down, and Fab takes game over number 2 as Danny loses the right side axis there and has to place that long piece for minimal gain. He's going to have a hard time clearing and getting the access to it again as Fap starts over. So what a wild race to end this first round. It's game overs everywhere. Game has been handed to multiple players, both players multiple times. And the pieces are just not falling correctly for either of them. Danny's trying to get out of trouble here. He's not getting any nice pieces for the left side, and there's the flat piece for him, of course. Yeah, and at level 5, he could not work that T block over to the left as quick as he needed to do it. And he's going to need it to start over. Fap is only 14 lines in, though. Danny taking some time to answer some fan mail. And he does start over. So 24-line lead here for Cantaloupe. Could say that Danny needs to play fast here and play Tetris like he's never played Tetris before. But he just has to keep it clean, it seems, with Fap taking multiple game overs. And we are nearing the 12-minute mark of this set right now, and nobody's done yet. So if Danny can just take his time and make the 100 lines, he might have a good chance here. Barring he'd need Fap to game over once again, but he has 5 times already, so not out of the realm of possibilities. Especially when he's playing so close to the top and he's just not getting the pieces he needs when he's up there. But he brought it down a little bit now. It's going to rein it in. Danny gets a quick 12 lines. And Fap is trying to open that right side there. It's kind of segmented, so not real much benefit to doing it rather than starting new. And it looks like that's what he's going to do. He's going to use the left side now. No, maybe not. He is opening that right side, and he's going to clear the 2 lines. So he's just going for line placement right now. He's not really building much of anything. But he may start if he clears a couple more lines and gets a little bit more down to the bottom. We'll see. Danny's really stacking them up, hoping for that long line here. There it is. And he'll take 1 line out of it all because of a blockage near the bottom. Now he's up too high again. He's going to have to block that left side. He's going to have to block the right side as well. So unfortunate situation for Danny here. He'll be playing for the top, which benefits him speed-wise, but he's also not doing what he wants to do. Meanwhile, Fap at 70 lines has a nice wide-open screen here. No imminent danger on Fap's side. And 28 lines to go for him. And there's another game over for Danny. Danny is frustrated right now. You can see it in his eyes. Looks like he might be bowing out of this one. But given what happened, it might be a good idea just to start again. And even if you're going to play slow and just go line by line, if Fap takes a game over, that is a lead you have over him. But he has 21 lines left to go, and now 20 left to go as we enter level 8. Not doing anything too crazy, just making the lines as he gets them. Once again, having to place a cube where a cube doesn't go, based on the randomness of the blocks he's been given. He might be in trouble here. 15 lines left to go. Yeah, and 86 lines down, Fap takes another game over. Fap has game overed so many times with so many lines that might actually equal 100 lines per every other race in this game. Danny did, in fact, quit. And it looks like Fap is taking that as a victory. We'll have to check with the judges to see if that counts as a set win, as he did not arrive at 100 lines. But given the problems we had people racing in the tournament that they signed up for, we'll go ahead and give that to Fap. Certainly a lot easier than setting up another race. And there it is. Fap is your winner, 2 sets to 0, or 1 set to 0, with Danny withdrawing. And he'll be moving on to play Just a Man 11-4 in the next round. And for the look at the way the bracket is shaping up, and your semifinal preview, let's go ahead and take a peek at the brackets here. And we checked with the judges, and it is perfectly acceptable for Cantaloupe to forfeit after Danny conceded first. That hands Fap the win, and he'll be moving on to take on Just a Man 114 in the semifinals. And just of note, all the remaining participants, Puke 7, Zarnax 42, Cantaloupe, and Just a Man 114, will be contending for medals, win or lose. Winner will go on to the gold medal race, and the loser will be heading to the bronze medal race. So it'll be plenty of exciting Tetris action coming up on the SHITournament Olympics. But for now, we're going to change it over and go to the Super Mario Bros. 1 event.